Mike and Earl Sweatshirt are two of the most important underground rappers of the last decade. Earl Sweatshirt was crowned as one of the leaders of the new school as a teenager, rising through the ranks with his crew at the time, Odd Future. Through his thoughtfully poetic pen game and an emotional vulnerability, he was quickly able to become a rapper who stood out amongst his generational peers. Around 2015, he discovered the artist Mike, whose rapping and producing over on the East Coast inspired Earl to evolve his sound. Mike is a founder of the Slums movement, a group of artists who have pushed forward a cultural renaissance of abstract hip-hop, perfecting a style of low-fidelity flows and emotive excellence. Together, Mike and Earl have become the de facto faces of this movement, working together a bunch of times over the past several years, and most recently coming together for the incredible dual album Pompei Utility. I made a video last year coining the term postmodern expressionism to describe their style and wave of music. And even though I think that filing art into certain genre classifications can sometimes be reductive, I do think that by articulating what makes a movement special while it is happening, it can help fans appreciate what they are witnessing. And while that name probably isn't perfect, I do think that giving a style or a movement a name like this really helps put it in perspective within the history of hip-hop. Earl Sweatshirt has always been known as an emotionally powerful writer, being in touch with his feelings from the start and possessing the skill of being able to articulate those feelings in a creative way. When he discovered Mike in 2015, Mike was only around 17 years old. From the first music that he released, Mike had a similarly impressive access to his emotion, but he channeled it differently from Earl. Mike is a great writer, but his appeal never has been his clever wordplay or punchlines. Listening to Mike is like listening to him expunge his soul and present it to the world. His delivery is melodic but monotone, with a flow that flows directly from his heart out through the speakers. This is why I classify him as an expressionist. His focus is more on the abstract emotional resonance that his music channels, rather than a realist, precision-based lyrical style that most underground rappers try to employ. There's many rappers who always try to keep it as real as possible, telling stories of their life of crime or violence, and being able to depict reality in that way is a special sort of skill. But what those rappers are often not able to capture is that sense of relatability. Mike and Earl Sweatshirt are able to connect so well with listeners because their rap conveys the universal truth of emotion, something that we all can relate to. As Mike was coming out, he was immediately able to capture this vulnerable rap style, and combined with his usual production, it makes listening to his music feel like a dreamscape, more focused on creating a dreamlike feeling for us to listen to, rather than articulating his thoughts through the words themselves. The expression of his art is more than the text of his words, it's the full piece of work. Earl Sweatshirt took this method and ran with it, releasing what many view as his best album, Some Rap Songs, in that same style. This is the album that mastered this expressionistic style, and Mike would go on to perfect it many times over. Other artists like Navy Blue, Mavi, Maxo, and Pink Sifu have all been at the forefront of this movement and helped to evolve its sound even further, and that evolution has been polarizing. Many of the people who fell in love with that original style of Mike and Earl have been reluctant to embrace the changes in their style of late, but that embracing of change is exactly what makes these two artists so special. The production that they perfected early on was very soulful and traditional in a way, very sample-based and with a layer of lo-fi fuzz to it that really helped to emphasize their surrealist and feeling-driven style. But in recent years, they both have been experimenting with more modern sensibilities. They're not making drill music, but the production they have been gravitating towards uses similar drum patterns and sample techniques that these other movements are known for. And that's why I said that they were postmodern. I remember there was a few people in my comments to that video saying that the better word for it was probably that it was meta-modern, because what they were making still is modern hip-hop, but with an elevated awareness of what came before it and what is expected of them. But but I'm not entirely sure that I'm the right person to make that call, so let me know down in the comments if there's anyone smarter than me who has a more accurate classification of what this would be. These artists don't operate under the assumption that modern underground hip-hop sounds one way and modern mainstream hip-hop sounds another way. Those boxes are outdated, and Mike and Earl operate with the knowledge of what modern hip-hop should sound like, but they have their own plan in mind. Earl Sweatshirt first started experimenting with some different production styles like this with his album Sick on songs like 2010, and Mike really started making moves with it on his 2 pinball albums he made with Tony Seltzer. I want to give a shout out to Niante, who collaborates with this duo a lot and really lives in this space, and I feel like he helped them embrace this more modern style, being even more expressive and stripping down their flows and lyrical intricacies even more to let the vibe and feeling rule over everything else. Their latest album, Pompei Utility, really is the culmination of this evolution of their sound over the past few years. The production is handled by Surf Gang, a collective of 12 producers who have been riding a wave of their own influence for the past few years. The production takes a lot of notes from the New York drill scene, but infuses it with a lighter, more wavy and free-flowing approach that gives them a distinct sound. And it's the perfect backdrop for Mike and Earl at this specific point in their careers. There are so many incredible artists within this scene who have helped develop its sound, so I don't want to make it seem like this is all Mike and Earl's doing, but I do think that they are viewed as the 2 figureheads of the movement. And that movement is now approaching a decade in running. And now with so many incredible albums released between these 2 specifically, I'm not surprised at all that they're evolving and trying to switch things up. This is a double album with Mike handling disc 1 and Earl Sweatshirt handling disc 2, feeling like a new-aged speaker box and The Love Below in many ways. It doesn't have the stylistic differentiation between the 2 sides that Outkast did, but there's a clear similarity in how both artists show so much chemistry together artistically, even when they're not directly on the same songs. There's very few songs on this record that feature both Mike and Earl rapping together, but the entire thing feels like it comes from the duo collectively. This is an album for feeling. The lyrics are there and ready to be picked apart if you want to, but the purpose of this album is for you to get lost for an hour and 4 minutes in a moment where 2 of the most talented artists that we have are able to share their chemistry with the rest of us. This album is for dancing, it's for vibing, it's for feeling, and people who come to Earl's records to dissect the lyrics are not going to get what they hope for out of this album. These are 2 artists who are dedicated to channeling feeling, and I think it's perfect that they are combining their powers for an album like this. Andre 3000 and Big Boy made Speakerbox and The Love Below to express their individual artistic voices, but Mike and Earl made the same type of album, but for the exact opposite reason. If they each released these 2 albums individually, I think that they would have been received with mixed reactions from their fan bases, and then ultimately they wouldn't have made a ton of noise within their incredibly deep catalogs. But by coming together and releasing these 2 as one, it enforces the most important characteristic of both of these artists. They are both master collaborators. Earl came up in the collective of Odd Future, Mike came up in the Slums collective, and they each have been living in highly collaborative worlds while they've created their best music. And by getting Surf Gang on production, it's not just about individual beats that they pick, it's about the collective of Surf Gang as well. Every hand that touched this project creatively was a collaborator. Mike and Earl Sweatshirt's most vulnerable works before this were very internal, but this is them opening themselves up to the community that they work so well with. This album couldn't have been made by one person, and it's not supposed to be listened to by one person either. This isn't an album to just listen to in your headphones and sit alone in your room. This is an album to experience outside with others and experiencing community, culture, and life around you. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know down in the comments who are some other artists within this scene and movement that you want me to cover. I feel like There's so many talented artists out there, and people usually only talk about the main handful, so I want to spread the love and shine the spotlight on as many of these guys and girls as I possibly can. Thank you, as always, to my patrons. Head over to patreon.com/DefGoldblum if you want to get all of my videos a little early, get some exclusive podcasts where I share more of my thoughts on recent albums that I've been listening to, and you get playlists over there, you get a bunch of behind the scenes updates, and you get to support me. So if you're able to spare the $5 a month for that and want to support, that's greatly appreciated. Otherwise, stay right here, click the subscribe button, because even though my video schedule is slowing down a bit, I got a lot more headed your way, as always, so stay tuned, stay safe, and stay def. Thanks for watching.